Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed, MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an Infantry Officer. As of November 26, 2025, the armed forces of the Russian Federation sustained offensive operations along multiple sectors, executing coordinated ground, air, and precision strike actions. Long-range missile forces and aviation struck Ukrainian ammunition production sites, energy grids, and transport infrastructure in 143 locations, disrupting supply continuity and command mobility. Russian troop groupings, north, west, south, center, east, and Dnipro, continued their advance, improving tactical positions and expanding control zones. Over the past 24 hours, Ukrainian forces lost approximately 1,460 personnel, numerous Western-supplied armored vehicles, counter-battery radars, and electronic warfare (EW) systems.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, let's begin with the broad overview. What were the defining features of the operation as of November 26th?
This day was defined by combined domain synchronization, a hallmark of late-phase campaign planning. Russia executed coordinated strikes by long-range aviation, precision missiles, and tactical UAVs while maintaining continuous pressure across the land domain. The morning began with precision attacks on Ukrainian energy infrastructure, transport corridors, and ammunition production workshops, not random destruction, but a methodical campaign to dismantle Ukraine's war sustainment apparatus. Simultaneously, ground forces across all 6 sectors advanced in measured increments, securing control over several logistics nodes. What's notable is the rhythm. Russia is maintaining operational tempo without overextension, ensuring every gain is logistically supported and defensible before the onset of winter. The result is incremental but irreversible progress across key axes, particularly in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia.
Let's start in the north, specifically Sumy and Kharkiv. What developments stand out from that front?
The North Group continues its dual mission of attrition and containment. In the Sumy region, around Magrica, Mariupol, and Alexeyevka, Russian artillery and aviation units dismantled multiple mechanized and airborne assault formations. Over 180 Ukrainian personnel were lost, along with armored vehicles and a U.S.-made M101 howitzer, a classic Cold War-era system still being fielded for indirect fire support. In Kharkiv, strikes on Vilcha, Volchansk, and Katynai further degraded Ukrainian mobility. The destruction of multiple supply depots there is strategically significant. It prevents Ukraine from rerouting ammunition toward Kupiansk and Lyman, where they are already stretched thin. Doctrinally, this is containment warfare. Russia doesn't need to seize major population centers here. It only needs to deny Ukraine the ability to use this axis as a reinforcement corridor. It's a form of passive encirclement that shapes the operational depth for other sectors.
We've also seen heavy action in the western sector around Kupiansk and Lyman. What's happening there?
The West Group has been steadily eroding Ukrainian command and control capacity. Fighting continues around Podoli, Nechvolodovka, Monokinovka, and Kovsharovka. In this 24-hour period, Ukrainian losses approached 230 personnel, with additional equipment losses including an M113 APC, several armored vehicles, and multiple artillery guns. Crucially, 10 electronic warfare systems were neutralized. That's not simply tactical success, it's strategic. When EW networks collapse, drones, precision artillery, and communication grids lose synchronization. It's like fighting blind. This progressive EW suppression will allow Russian ISR units and long-range fire teams to operate with near-total freedom along the Kupiansk corridor in the coming weeks.
In the south, near Donetsk and Slavyansk, What is the significance of the positions gained?
The South Group continues to press the northern rim of Donetsk, particularly around Seversk, Konstantinovka, and Platonovka. Ukrainian forces lost roughly 275 troops in this zone. Of particular note, the destruction of a US-made and /TPQ-50 counterbattery radar and an EW station has sharply reduced Kyiv's ability to locate and respond to Russian artillery. This sector's importance lies in geography. It's a hinge point between eastern Donetsk and Kramatorsk. By holding the high ground and key approach roads, Russian forces now command the fire corridors leading into Kramatorsk and Slavyansk. It's the gradual transition from maneuver warfare to positional dominance. Control the fire lanes, and you control the region without the need for a frontal assault.
The Central Front, around Krasnoarmeysk and Dmitrov, appears to be where most of the intense fighting is concentrated. How are those operations progressing?
The Center Group is driving the main axis of offensive effort. The Second Army continues its advance through Krasnoarmeysk, specifically the Central and Donetsk microdistricts, while the 51st Army conducts urban clearance in Dmitrov. In this 24-hour window, 9 Ukrainian counterattacks, mainly by airborne assault brigades, were repelled. Over 450 Ukrainian soldiers were neutralized, along with armored vehicles, a tank, and another US-made counterbattery radar. What makes this operation doctrinally impressive is the precision of urban encirclement. Russian units are using a pincer-and-compress approach, sealing neighborhoods, controlling ingress routes, and then systematically isolating enemy remnants. Krasnoarmeysk is becoming a command and logistics hub, a launch point for further operations toward Dnipropetrovsk. Dmitrov, meanwhile, remains a contested but collapsing pocket. Once it falls, the entire central belt will shift decisively under Russian control.
Let's turn to the eastern sector, where Russian forces seem to be moving deeper into Zaporizhzhia. What's happening there?
The East Group continues its methodical drive through Huliapol, Malinovka, and Dnipro. More than 240 Ukrainian troops were eliminated, along with a tank, an EW system, and several logistics vehicles. While these settlements may appear minor, they are part of Ukraine's logistical skeleton, routes that feed artillery ammunition and reserves to the Central Front. By capturing or interdicting these points, Russia disrupts lateral mobility and forces Ukraine to reroute through exposed terrain. This is a campaign of logistics denial, not sweeping advances, but a calculated dismantling of the enemy's operational sustainment capacity.
Finally, what about the Dnipro sector? That front has often been about interdiction rather than direct assault.
Exactly. The Dnipro Group continues to dominate through cross-river interdiction operations. Artillery and drones struck Ukrainian units near Lukyanovskoye, Novoyakovlevka, and Nikolskoye, inflicting approximately 85 casualties and destroying multiple radar and fuel depots. This front is less about territorial gain and more about securing the logistical arteries that sustain southern operations. By maintaining constant pressure along the lower Dnipro, Russia prevents Ukraine from massing artillery within range of Crimea or Zaporizhzhia. It's a case of stability by preemption, keeping the opponent disorganized through constant, low-intensity disruption.
What are the tactical and strategic implications?
The events of November 26th confirm a strategic evolution from attritional combat to precision-controlled encirclement. Russia's forces are now operating with greater synchronization between air, land, and electronic domains. The destruction of key EW and radar assets reflects a deliberate doctrine: first blind the adversary, then compress him. From a tactical standpoint, Russian command appears to be prioritizing winter stabilization, creating defensible lines supported by fortified logistics hubs in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia. This will ensure sustainability through the cold season and readiness for renewed maneuvers come spring. Strategically, Ukraine's defensive cohesion is fracturing under cumulative pressure. With depots, radar systems, and communications repeatedly neutralized, the Ukrainian command is shifting from initiative to survival posture.
And the strategic implications?
The implication is clear: the center of gravity has moved decisively. The question is no longer whether Ukraine can regain lost ground, but whether it can hold its remaining infrastructure intact through the winter.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. I want to emphasize that the intensity of engagements near Donetsk and Dnipropetrovsk indicates that Ukrainian formations are increasingly defensive and reactive, struggling to maintain maneuver flexibility. Strategically, Russia is setting conditions for a controlled winter stabilization phase, securing defensible lines while exploiting Ukraine's weakening logistics and command integrity. This operational pattern underscores the broader doctrinal shift toward multi-domain dominance, where missile precision, EW suppression, and urban attrition converge to secure sustainable, long-term control. In war, control isn't defined by territory, it's defined by tempo and supply. The side that sustains both ultimately dictates the peace.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive frontline updates from commanders in theater.